A very good morning, all of you. Welcome to Adamya. I am Ramesh. Today we will discuss about the second topic of our bridge course, which is scalars and vectors. Okay. Before understanding the exact meaning of scalars and vectors, let us understand certain things which will be helpful for us to understanding the scalars and vectors. In our day-to-day life, we will see a lot of things around us and we will observe a lot of phenomena around us. Okay, if you can measure those phenomena and those things which we can see around us, then such quantities we can call it as a physical quantity. The proper definition for physical quantity can be given as the quantity which can be measured accurately and can be expressed numerically is called as a physical quantity. ನಮಗೆ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಸಂಗತಿಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ ಮತ್ತು ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ವಿದ್ಯಮಾನಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ನಮಗೆ ಕಾಣುವಂತಹ ಸಂಗತಿಗಳನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ವಿದ್ಯಮಾನಗಳನ್ನು ನಮಗೆ ಅಳತೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಆ ಅಳತೆಯನ್ನು ಅಂಕಿ ಅಂಶಗಳ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದರೆ ಅಂತಹವುಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ದ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ವಿಚ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಮೆಜರ್ಡ್ ಅಕ್ಯುರೇಟ್ಲಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಡ್ ನ್ಯೂಮರಿಕಲಿ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ. ಓಕೆ, this physical quantity may be a scalar or it may be a vector. ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ನಮಗೆ ಅಳತೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೋ ಅದು ಸ್ಕೇಲರು ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಮತ್ತು ಅದು ವೆಕ್ಟಾರ್ ಕೂಡ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ದೆನ್ ವೆನ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಅ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ as scalar and when we can call it as a vector. So let us understand in detail about scalars and vectors. So let us start with the scalar. Okay, we will understand or we will try to understand the meaning of scalar using these images, and at the end we will define the proper definition for scalar. Let us observe the image here. The length of a car is 4.5 meter here. Here length is a physical quantity and 4.5 meter is a magnitude. Okay, length is a physical quantity. Why it is a physical quantity? Because it can be measured and it can be expressed numerically as 4.5 meter. Here in this diagram, length of a car is 4.5 meter. Here length is a physical quantity and this 4.5 meter indicates this magnitude. Now see this image here. Mass of a gold bar is 1 kg. Here mass is a physical quantity because it can be measured and the magnitude of that mass is 1 kg. Similarly, time is 12.76 second here. Here time is physical quantity and the magnitude here is 12.76 is magnitude here. And what you observed in these three images here, that and another example also you can observe. Here temperature is a physical quantity because we can measure the temperature, and this 36.8 degrees Celsius is the magnitude. It is expressing the temperature. And what you understood from those four images is that a scalar is a physical quantity that has only magnitude. ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಏನು 4 ಇಮೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಸ್ಕೇಲರ್. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಆ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ನಾವೇನು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೋ ನೋಡಿದಂಥ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಡ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಎ ಸ್ಕೇಲಾರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ದಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್. ಯಾವ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿಗೆ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅಂಥವುಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಸ್ಕೇಲಾರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ only magnitude is enough to express those things. Take example here: mass, length, time, temperature, density. These are all scalars because to express mass we need only magnitude. We don't have or we don't need any direction to express the mass. And length we need only magnitude, and time we need only magnitude. Similarly, temperature we need only magnitude, and density we need only magnitude to represent these physical quantity. So when we will call a physical quantity as scalar is that when we need only magnitude to express those physical quantity, then such physical quantities we can call it as a scalar. So that's why a scalar is a physical quantity that has only magnitude. A scalar ge only magnitude irutte. A only magnitude itself is enough to express about these things. Mass 4 kg, that magnitude itself is enough. No need to express the direction. Expressing the direction to the mass is meaningless here. Mass 4 kg ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವ ದಿಕ್ಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ 4 kg ಅಂತ ಯಾರು ಕೇಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಥರ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕೂಡ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಲೆಸ್. ಲೆಂತ್ 5 ಮೀಟರ್. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ಟೈಮ್ 4 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್. temperature 30 degrees Celsius, and density kg per meter cube. These are all scalar quantities because we need only magnitude to express these physical quantities. Okay, so let us understand about vectors now. Again we will try to define the vectors using these images. Okay, you can observe here, position of California from North California is 3600 kilometer in west. Okay, position of California from North California is 3600 kilometer in west. Here position is a physical quantity, 3600 kilometer is magnitude, and in west we have represented the direction here, direction. So west is the direction. We have used both physical quantity to express these physical quantity position. We have used both magnitude as well as direction. Okay, ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಈ ನಾರ್ತ್, ಈ ಕ್ಯಾಲಿಫೋರ್ನಿಯಾ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆಯೂ ಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೂಡ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿನ ನಾವು, ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿನ ನಾವು ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ I need both magnitude as well as direction. Take another example. Here also, displacement from USA to China is 11,600 km. Here displacement ಅನ್ನೋದು physical quantity. Okay, 11,600 km is magnitude and east ಅನ್ನೋದು direction. So displacement is a physical quantity. That physical quantity needs both magnitude as well as direction to express that. So that is why we can call displacement as a vector quantity. Now we can define vector. A vector is a physical quantity which has both magnitude and a direction. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಬೋತ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡು ಮತ್ತು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಬಂದರೆ ಅಂತಹವುಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಹಿಯರ್ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ನ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಬೋತ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಕೂಡ ಬೇಕು, ಒಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟಿಂದ ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ದೂರದಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೂಡ ಬೇಕು, ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಅದು ಯಾವ ದಿಕ್ಕಿನಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೂಡ ಬೇಕು. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಲರೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಅ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್. Why we will call these as a vector means these quantities or these physical quantities need both magnitude as well as direction to express them. That is why we can call representation of vectors. Vectors are usually represented by arrows with their length representing the magnitude and their direction represented by the direction the arrow points. Okay, we will use this arrow to represent the any given vector. The length of this arrow represents the magnitude of the given vector, whereas this arrow mark represents the direction in which the particular vector is moving. Clear? And these vectors can also be represented using the capital letter with an arrow above it. Okay, A capital letter with an arrow above it, B with an arrow above it, and P with an arrow above it. ಈ ಥರ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ನ ರಿಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Now we will try to understand about types of vectors on the basis of orientation. Parallel vectors. So if two vectors are said to be parallel vectors, then they have both same direction. You can observe in the figure here, vector A and vector B both are in same direction, and vector P and vector Q both are in same direction. So if two vectors are having same direction, then such vectors we can call it as parallel vectors. And equal vectors, when you call two vectors as equal vectors, means both should be parallel and both should have same magnitude. That means that both should have same direction as well as magnitude. Then such vectors we can call it as equal vectors. You can observe vector A is equal to vector B. Here both magnitude as well as direction of both vector A and B are same. Similarly here both magnitude and direction of both vector P and Q are same. Vector A ಮತ್ತು vector B ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡು ಮತ್ತು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ನು ಎರಡು ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಎ ಮತ್ತು ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಬಿದು ಸೇಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ P is equal to vector Q. Anti-parallel vectors. Okay, two vectors are said to be anti-parallel vectors if they are in opposite direction. If two given vectors are having different direction, or so not different direction, exactly opposite direction, then such vectors we can call it as anti-parallel vectors. You can observe here vector A and vector B both are in opposite direction. Similarly vector P and vector Q both are in opposite direction. Then such vectors which are having opposite direction we can call it as anti-parallel vectors. Now negative vectors. two anti-parallel vectors are said to be negative vectors if they have same magnitude. Okay, if any two given vectors are having same magnitude but different direction, you can observe in the image here, vector A is equal to minus of vector B, which means that magnitude of vector A and vector B both are same but directions are different. Similarly, magnitude of vector P and vector Q both are same but those directions are different. That's why we can call these vectors as negative vectors. Collinear vectors. Two vectors are said to be collinear vectors if they act along a same line. ಎರಡು ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ಗಳು ಸೇಮ್ ಲೈನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂಥವುಗಳು ನಾವು ಕೋಲಿನಿಯರ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಎ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಬಿ ಬೋತ್ ಆರ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಲೈನ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಪಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಕ್ಯೂ ಬೋತ್ ಆರ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಲೈನ್. They are not parallel here. The thing you should observe here is vector A and vector B are not parallel, but they are acting on same plane. Acting on a same plane, it doesn't mean that both should have same direction. Here in the image, first image, vector A and vector B both are in opposite direction, but they are acting on the same lane. Similarly, vector P and vector Q, they are acting on the same lane and having the same direction as well. So these vectors we can call it as collinear vectors. Now co-initial vectors. The name itself will tell us that co-initial means these all these vectors are starting from same point. You can observe here, two or more vectors are said to be co-initial vectors if they have common initial point. Okay, if all these any given vectors are starting from a common initial point, then such vectors we can call it as co-initial vectors. Vector A, vector B, vector C and D, all the four vectors here are starting from the same point. That's why these vectors we can call it as co-initial vectors. Similarly, coterminous vectors. Co-initial means common point, initial point same iruttave. Co-terminus vector means final point common ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ two or more vectors are said to be coterminous vectors if they have ಕಾಮನ್ ಟರ್ಮಿನಲ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಫೈನಲ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟು ಎಲ್ಲ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ದು ಒಂದೇ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ಕೋಟರ್ಮಿನಸ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಎ, ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಬಿ, ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಸಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಡಿ, ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಫೋರ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಅರೈವಿಂಗ್ ಎಟ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. Then such vectors we can call it as coterminous vectors. Similarly, coplanar vectors. Three or more vectors are said to be coplanar means if they lie in the same plane. If the given vectors are lying in the same plane, then we can call those vectors as a coplanar vectors. Similarly, for example, xy plane we can consider. If you consider xy plane, if all the vectors are lying on xy plane itself, we can call those vectors as coplanar vectors. Similarly, yz plane also you can take. Here in this image, vector A, B, C and D, all these four vectors are lying on the same plane. So such vectors we can call it as coplanar vectors. And non-coplanar vectors, opposite of coplanar vectors. There are three or more vectors are said to be non-coplanar vectors if they are distributed in a space, which means that these vectors are lying in a different plane. One vector may lie on the xy plane, another vector may lie on the yz plane, so another vector may lie on the xz plane. So this is how non-coplanar vectors can be represented. And types of vectors based on the basis of effect. Okay, and till now we have seen the types of vectors based on their orientation. Now we will see the types of vectors based on the basis of effect. Polar vectors. Okay, based on the effect, polar vectors. Vectors having a straight line effect we can call as polar vectors. If a particular given vector is having a straight line effect, then such vectors we can call it as a polar vectors. For example, displacement is a line effect, straight line effect. That's why we can call it as a displacement is a polar vector. And velocity, it is also having a straight line effect. We can also call it as a polar vector. Similarly, acceleration as well as a force, these are all polar vectors because these vectors having a straight line effect, so that's why we can call it as polar vectors. Similarly, axial vectors, if vectors having a rotational effect are called axial vectors. If the particular given vector is having a rotational effect, then such vectors we can call it as a axial vectors. Namely, angular momentum, it is having rotational effect, angular velocity, rotational effect, angular acceleration, rotational effect. torque rotational effect. So that's why all these vectors which are having rotational effect, we can call it as a. Now we have come to an important point of our discussion, which is addition of vectors. Till now we have seen about physical quantity, what is the meaning of physical quantity, what is scalar, what is vector, and what are the types of vectors also we have seen. Now we will see about addition of two given vectors, two or more vectors. In this slide I have two images here, okay, first image and second image we can call. In the first image, if I ask you guys to calculate the total mass in the first image, you will directly tell it just by adding, okay, 10 kg plus 5 kg plus 2 kg plus 1 kg, 0.5 and 2.25 kg, like that you will directly add it and you will tell what is the total mass in the first image. Okay, come to second image. Here a man who is pushing a wooden block here, okay, a number of forces are acting on this wooden block. Gravitational force is acting downwards and he is pushing the force which is in the forward direction, and opposite to this motion of the block, frictional force is acting, and in upward direction reaction force for gravitational force which is also acting. So totally here 4 forces are acting. And in the second image, if I ask you guys to what is the net force which is acting on the body, can you tell it that readily as you did it with the first image? No, you cannot tell that easily, or you cannot calculate that easily what is the net force on a body. With the simple mathematics that you cannot tell that, because in the first image why you did that easily is that the mass is a scalar quantity, it doesn't have any direction. That's why you have just added their magnitude of the mass and you told that what is the total mass in the image. But in the second image, it is the force with which you are dealing. That is why you cannot tell that what is the net force on a body that easily. You need separate mathematics for that. You need a separate tool. You need a separate laws to add the given vectors. So like that, let us see what are those rules and regulations which will allow us, or which will help us to calculate, or which will help us to add given vectors. Now we will discuss about geometrical method of vector addition. Okay, later we will discuss about the analytical method of vector addition. Firstly, we will talk about a geometrical method of vector addition. How we will add the given vectors using geometric.